This show usually focuses on big assaults on freedom, the $14 trillion debt, the crippling rules that politicians pass, the authoritarian laws that lock people up unjustly. But now, let's look at the little things, like the government's assault on this. Not to mention the shower heads that no longer give good showers, the front-loading washing machines that don't get your clothes clean, toilets that don't flush. Last week, a U.S. senator actually confronted the Energy Department's Deputy Assistant Secretary for Energy Efficiency about that. It's fun to watch.
All your notions that you know what's best for me, frankly, my toilets don't work in my house. And I blame you and people like you who want to tell me what I can install in my house, what I can do. You restrict my choices. I find it insulting. Now, it's not that I'm against conservation. I'm all for energy conservation. But I wish you would come here to try to convince me that it would be a good idea to conserve energy. But you come instead with fines, threats of jail. You put people out of business who want to make products that you don't like.
I really do not believe that the appliance standards end up restricting personal choice. I think I
can't buy the old light bulbs. That restricts my choice on buying.
Well, my view is what you want is lighting, right? And
I can't buy a toilet that works.
I can help you find a toilet that works.
Are you going to pay for it?
No, they're not going to pay for it. They just pass the rules. We have to pay the bills. And that bothers not just Senator Rand Paul and me, but also the author of Bourbon for Breakfast, a book about the many small and petty ways government intrudes on us. The author is Jeffrey Tucker, who joins us now. So this is hardly a big threat to my life that they're going to ban these things, and we have these now. They use less energy.
I don't know about you, John. Those bulbs drive me crazy. You put them all over a house. You can hardly read a book. They're terrible. In any case, it should be you agree, yeah. I can't stand them.
But they're saving energy.
Yeah. According to Washington, according to the central planners, you know, this used to be a country we didn't have a central plan. Now we have central planners telling us what is efficient. This should be left up to the consumer. And Senator Paul is right. We should have choice in the matter.
Shower heads may release now no more than 2.5 gallons per minute.
Yeah.
We're saving our water.
You know, this was a shock to me. I went around my house and tested all my showers, you know, with a bucket and tested how much water I was getting out of them per minute. You know, the government mandates these little stoppers are put into the shower heads. You have to pull them out, get a drill, and drill them out to get them to work right anymore. You know, if you buy a new home, this is what you have. You have to hack your shower head to have a decent shower these days.
Water heaters can be no hotter than 120
That's
degrees.
Right. You have to hack your water heater too. And it's,
well, they're saving you from being burned. Lots of people get scalded.
What it means is that our clothes are coming out of the washing machine dirty. Our dishes are not getting clean. Our bodies are not getting clean. You have to have hot water to clean things. It turns out. You know, I don't know if anybody told this lady from the Energy Department. That's true. You got to have hot water. They don't let us have hot water anymore. In any case, you can find the work. You got to do this yourself. You have to break open your water heater and do it yourself.
Low flush toilets. We're saving water again.
This is catastrophic.
1.6 gallons.
You know, I mean, look, the toilets don't work. You can buy, you know, brilliant private entrepreneurs who've tried to create new models of toilets that work with 1.6 gallons, right?
But
they're having a hard time.
They work. They didn't work at first, but now they work.
Yeah, well, you know what happens? They can get the stuff down, but they don't stay clean. So this is why you quite often find toilets that have to have brushes next to them. You're going to want your guests to come over to the house and clean your toilet for you. That's the world we're moving into, thanks to the government.
Your book on the cover has Bourbon for Breakfast is the title, and there's bourbon and a donut. But we're still a free country, and if you want, you can have bourbon and a donut for breakfast.
The title's meant to shock you. Some of the finest men I've ever known drank bourbon for breakfast, and it's a tribute to them. So
they haven't banned this yet?
Well, you know what? It turns out we have as strict alcohol laws as practically any country in the world outside of Saudi Arabia. It's true. We have gigantic federal laws concerning alcohol production, consumption. It's not as easy as it used to be to get a drink. It's a legacy of prohibition. In many places in this country, it's hard to even order a champagne for Sunday brunch anymore. That's what's coming.
As a thought experiment to think about this, an illustration of how ingrained these attitudes are, look at this clip from Saturday Night Live, which shows how we feel about people who drink too early in the day.
Dawn's a time when you awake to to the challenge of a brand new day. You're on your own when breakfast calls. You're tired of the same old way. AMA. When you need a friend who don't ask questions, doesn't bother with how or why.
AM Ale, because you can't wait till afternoon.
All right, I think it's good that there is social sanction against drinking bourbon for breakfast.
Yeah,
I mean, we have a lot more drunks hurting people.
The theme of my book is that society can manage itself. Individuals make mistakes. If you give them freedom, they make mistakes, they correct the mistakes. And slowly over time, order emerges. If it means you're going to have a bourbon on Saturday morning, that's great.
Well, I'm happy in America that we got rid of Prohibition, and they haven't banned donuts yet.
Well, you know, we got rid of some aspects of Prohibition. We've got Prohibition on drugs of the most egregious sort, and I tell you, it's increasing in alcohol. The idea that you have to wait till 21 to get a drink in this country is utterly preposterous. And I'll tell you a secret. Maybe people don't entirely know this, but one of the first things that kids do when they go off to college, they get a fake ID. It's just
I've heard that.
I'm just telling the truth. Nobody wants to talk about it, but it's just true.
You're with something called the Mises Institute.
That's right. He was a great freedom fighter. He was born in Austria, driven out of the country because he hated...
This is Ludwig von
yes.
Mises, and Hayek was a socialist until he read
That's right.
Mises's work.
Yes, 1920, his book called Socialism, and it makes the ultimate case against socialism. You can't be a socialist after reading that book.
And they employ you in Alabama. You have a full-time job writing and blogging, just thinking about liberty.
Well, I wished I was just doing that. I'll also do webmastering and every other thing that you can possibly think of. So it's a fun job. It's a wonderful place to be.
Thank you, Jeffrey Tucker. When we return, let's meet this cover girl. What does she have to do with liberty versus big government? Well, her occupation is in danger. We'll explain. Who owns your body? Once you're an adult, don't you own your body? Don't you get to decide what you want to do with it as long as you don't hurt anyone else? I would think we do. Skiers and boxers take risks with their bodies. So do I when I ride my bike to work, especially without a helmet. Some people put their bodies on the line for money, like loggers and fishermen. And that's all legal so far. But there is one way to earn a living with your body that's legal only in Nevada. And now Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid wants to change that.
The time has come to outlaw prostitution.
Well, if that happens, this man would lose his business. Dennis Hoff runs one of the 25 legal brothels in Nevada, probably the most famous one. It's called the Moonlight Bunny Ranch. Cammie Parker works for him. You're a former NYU student who's now a sex worker.
That's right.
And NYU is this very hard to get into school, top of the country. Why would you leave that to be a prostitute?
Well, I'm having a little bit more fun now, for sure. I like fun, and, you know, that's my choice.
All right, well, fun is one thing. A federal government report once called prostitution demeaning and called degrading. How can that be fun?
Well, degrading to them, degrading is relative, but degrading to me is them telling me what to do with my body.
But it's exploitative. It hurts women.
It doesn't hurt women who I'm exploiting the customers and their desire to do things that their wives don't want to do. They're not exploiting me at all.
But some of these guys have to be creepy Johns who you wouldn't want to be with.
So I won't be with them. I don't have to be with anybody I don't want to.
Because it's a legal establishment run by Dennis, and because it's legal, you say it's safer.
Oh, it's absolutely safer. The example is in Nevada, 31 years of mandatory testing, never a case of HIV. In Las Vegas, where
everybody gets tested
weekly,
condoms,
weekly tests, barrier protection condoms. In Las Vegas, where the business is illegal, what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas. There's the HIV rate is up 47% in 1 year, and they've just had their 400th prostitute forced to take a test working with HIV.
In Las Vegas, $2 million worth of robbery complaints about prostitutes ripping off Johns doesn't happen in legal brothels.
Never. The mayor now says that there's 3,000 active pimps working Las Vegas, something to be proud of. The sheriff says 32,000 working girls come to Las Vegas to work every year. It's a cesspool of sexual activity and underage trafficking.
Well, it's not a cesspool of sexual activity where, in your business?
Not at all. All the girls are there because they want to. And our girls are businesswomen that want to be there. They're enjoying what they do, and they love it. The Bunny Ranch is kind of like Walmart or church. You don't have to go unless you want to.
All right, well, let me ask the audience, how many of you are conservatives here? So I would assume you have some questions for well, I'm confused. It's a madam who runs a brothel, so what do we call you? A sir?
I think
a mister?
A cat house owner, a brothel owner.
Or a pimp is okay.
Oh, please, please. A pimp is the illegal vernacular.
Okay.
I have a business license to do what I do. It's sanctioned by the state of Nevada. Let me try this. A boxer can beat another boxer to a bloody pulp for money. Why shouldn't Cammie be able to do a beautiful thing, make love, for money?
Yes, sir.
You mentioned mandatory testing for AIDS and STDs earlier.
Yes.
Is that a state government regulation?
Absolutely. The state requires mandatory testing for all STDs on a weekly and monthly basis.
Here's a question from my Facebook page. Aristotle from Virginia asks, Cammie, if you won the lottery, would you still prostitute yourself?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't like to call it prostituting myself. I like to call it having fun and making people happy, and I want to do that forever.
So this is sex play, not sex work for you?
As far as I'm concerned, just because I don't have to do anything or be with anybody that I don't want to, I only do what I'm comfortable with and what I enjoy.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you: are you guys unionized? I mean, seems like you guys are hardworking.
Well, they don't have a hookers union at this point. The girls, but it's a good question. The girls are all independent contractors.
Oh, okay.
Independent contractors. They take care of their own taxes and 1099s and health insurance. And they get paid a lot of money.
How much money?
So the average girl works a week a month and makes a six-figure income. Our top producer did $800,000 last year, and she was a student.
A full-time student at the same time working in the ranch?
Comes and works 5 or 6 days a month.
Yes, ma'am.
When you finished college, what were your goals at the time? Surely you didn't major in pleasuring.
Well,
can you do that at NYU?
If it was an option, I certainly would have. If I had known this was an option, I might not even have gone to school in the first place.
I find it amazing that a college girl can give away $1 million worth of sex and it's okay, but as soon as you hand them some money, it's not okay. That's a problem for me.
Well, Harry Reid, I assume, feels it's going to hurt business, that Nevada's going to get a sleazy reputation. Conventions won't go there. Families won't want to be around prostitution.
You know, Harry grew up in the cat houses. Harry was swimming in their swimming pools. His mommy fed him off the money.
I bet you didn't know this.
His mommy fed him off the money she made doing laundry at the cat houses. What this really is about is that of the 15 rural counties, only one voted for Harry. The Nevadans say this: brothels don't shame Nevada. Harry Reid does.
Yes.
How do we know, you can justify anything. How do we know she's not here under duress? How do we know she's not your slave and you're forcing her to be here and you told her to smile and act happy?
Oh, you know, I think I might enjoy that a little bit. No, I mean, some people, they like to say that it's sexual slavery, but if I'm a sexual slave, you all are corporate slaves. I walk into work and walk out of work just like you all do, so.
Well, on that note, thank you, Cammie. Thank you, Dennis. I can accept the fact that many Americans, maybe most of you, don't like what you do and don't want it to be legal, but some people, like you, make a good case that it's none of the state's business. And also, we've got 50 states. Can't we have experimentation? Some states that say yes, some that say no. And what if there were enough lovers of liberty in one state that they made up the majority? They could then vote to relax most any rule in that state. You might call it a free state project. Well, that exists, and that's next.